let me get my music together. And I just got another notification. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't know what's happening with StreamYard and Facebook, but I will make sure this video is posted out. So if you're in the Facebook community, obviously you're not seeing this. This is just a formal apology. Please blame StreamYard. But everybody else is here with us, Marilyn. So thank you for being here.
Oh my goodness, thank you. Thank you for having me again, Shay. I love it. Let's start with some laughter and energy.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. I really, I listen, my Facebook friends, and I do share the video out. It is all, this is why we ask you guys, please subscribe to YouTube, because it doesn't fail on YouTube, but sometimes in these streets, Facebook does not work with StreamYard. So for those of y'all who will be watching the replay, my bad, and please still love, like, and share the video.
There you go.
Oh my gosh. So I'm so excited to have you back. For those of y'all who don't know Marilyn, she was actually here not too long ago on our Teen Thursday edition talking about college prep, and I was so honored to watch the conversation between you and my fabulous co-host Isabella. Mm-hmm. But tonight we're gonna shift the conversation for parents, and again, to my friends in the Facebook community, I did ask teachers as well. So, I wanted to talk about college prep. And, as I was preparing for this conversation, I was on LinkedIn, and I'm sure, like you're seeing all of the layoffs and the negative news in the industries happening, right? So there's a lot of impact to workforce, and that means parents losing jobs. And I got to tell you, I thought this conversation is so timely, because those parents still have kids who have to, afford college in some way, shape, or form. And so when you were on before, from the teen perspective, we talked about access, which is what a lot of our, kids don't have. Sometimes it's, teens don't have access to the information that, your organization provides. But quite frankly, a lot of parents don't have access to the information that, that they can get from your organization. Right. So I want to talk about, obviously the benefits of working with you. We'll go through like a quick reintroduction for those who, maybe they missed the teen edition, but for the grown-up folks who are carrying the bills and taking care of these kids, you need to know who she is. And I'm going to drop the link to the website. I'm going to drop her link to LinkedIn, but just give us a quick introduction and then we'll just get started.
Okay, thank you again for having me. Well, I am Marilyn Gilbert-Mitchell of MGM College Services, and I help parents of high school students, that is 9th to 12th grade, to reach their college goals without overwhelm, without huge debt, and to make the journey enjoyable. So that is what I do, and that is my career, my divine assignment, and I love it. So let's go.
Oh my God. And again, we need it. So I'm dropping links in the chat. Again, if you cannot find Marilyn, you can always find me, and I will connect you. But she is on LinkedIn. So those of y'all who are on LinkedIn, don't come for me. The link is in the comment section. For those of y'all who are on Facebook, again, I'll have all the information available for y'all. So at the very least, I want you all to at least go to her website and bookmark it, because you will absolutely need these resources. So I'm going to go back to what I think is like the best write-up of of who you are and what you offer. And so as a parent, just trying to understand a little bit more about how we can work together for our kids, okay? And so, your site, you talk about scholarships and grants, leadership training and experiences, and I want to dig in a little bit more about how does that, how do you make that happen? If I have a student in the 9th grade, is that a good touch point? Like what age, absolutely, at what point can we, connect with you, and what kind of services you offer for maybe the 9th through 11th grade students?
So I do start, 9th grade is the perfect time. First of all, let me say that, because what I've seen in my career in working with hundreds and hundreds of students and thousands of family members is that if you don't start early enough, let's just say, typically, what do I see? I see students starting in 11th or 12th grade year, and typically late 11th grade after their school is starting to focus on the ACT or the SAT prep and it's embedded into their classes, or they're taking AP level courses. Then they really start making concrete plans about college. And that's really late. I won't say too late, but you are reducing your options. So yes, ninth grade, I love it. Why? Because you have years to set the foundation, and we're on the proactive side and not the reactive side. So if you are a freshman, you know, I hear things like, oh, I'm just transitioning, I'm trying to find myself. And so students often make mistakes in their freshman, sophomore years that they may not be able to fully recover from. So if they have the information, it's more likely to thwart them from doing things that could hurt their grades later. For example, there are students who don't think of PE as a course, right? Oh, it's just gym, it's just PE, but it's a graduation requirement. So why not pass it with an A, right? Why not enjoy it and pass it and keep going? Do you really want to go to summer school for PE or driver's ed or something like that? Right. So I've seen students say these are higher ranked classes and I don't care about these classes, but all of them affect your GPA. So parents, you know, emphasizing from early on that all of your classes are important. All of your classes have importance and relevance, and they're part of your whole picture, and to help to stimulate those ideas of also, not if you're not going to college, and that's okay. Not everyone goes, but what are you going to do? And
what's your plan?
I imagine our parents may have been similar. You know, we have that same vein of, I don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to do something. You're going to college, you're going to get a job, you're going to the military, you're doing something. But you are not staying here with me forever, right? So if parents are having those kind of conversations to make sure that it's early on where students have the opportunity to explore more.
I love that. So if as a parent, the way that your program is set up, can you talk us through, because I'm telling y'all, when we had the conversation with Isabella, as a parent, there were some things that stood out really quickly. I was like, what in the world? My kid is making a decision about whether or not she's going to take coursework without consulting her parents. But then I realized I wouldn't know what the answer is anyway. So there's a lot of parents that, you know, we think we know, but we really don't, y'all. You know, school at this stage in 2023 is not the school we went to. Absolutely. At least for some of us in the early 80s and late 70s. It's just not. So, you know, I really think this is where it's so important to get someone who is an expert in this field to actually talk you through what that looks like. So can you explain, like, how do we connect with you in even having those kind of conversations with our kids to say, okay, we're in the ninth grade and we're trying to plan, you know, even your curriculum. Do you offer those types of conversation or consultations?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So of course, this is my business. So I do have some paid services and coaching systems and frameworks and things that I have developed over my career. But I also offer free workshops, typically twice a year or so. So I would say follow me on social media. As soon as you see an event, you can register for it. I have some for parents, some for students, some for both, because those are two different ways to look at the process, right? I've seen students where the parent says, you're going to college. And the kid is going, I'm not going. That's not a great fit, right? Because the parent is not going to write the scholarships. It's not going to do the applications. It's not going to do the coursework. So how do you have the conversations that find out what the student would like to do? And then the parent finds ways to support or guide, or at least put in their opinion onto the conversation. So parents can work with me. One, they can follow me on social media in general, but on Instagram, in my bio, there's a link to schedule a college strategy session. So why is that important? That is a 45, 50-minute session, but we look at where is the student and child right now. What does it look like? What are your grades, academic backgrounds? What are things you're interested in? So it's really a stick your toe in the water type of experience. It won't solve all the problems or the questions that you have in the whole world, but you'll leave there with definitely 3 next steps. That what can I do in the next 2 weeks, the next 2 months, not far 3 years from now.
Yeah.
So if you're a freshman, that is a great place to start. Sophomore, junior, that's a great place to start. Senior, we're past that point, right? That's a different conversation. So even though I work with all 4 grade levels, where you are and what your foundation looks like determines if we need to accelerate, if we have time to slow the pace. And there are times I have to look at students and parents and say, you graduate in 2 months. We really have to move a little faster. Or you have to put that time into a very small window because of the crunch. So, and that's why if you look at many of the things I'm posting now on social media, it's not focused on seniors, because seniors who have followed the process have already been accepted. They already have their scholarship money. Now they're moving on to what's next after we've been accepted and made our decision. So that's a different conversation.
Okay. And then
follow me on social media.
Follow social media. Okay.
Strategy session. You can attend my free events. You definitely can apply for my 3-month college coaching program. Again, that is for students who are in grades 9 through 11 right now, so that you can have hands-on help and support. You can ask your questions. You can get direct help. I don't just give you the work to say, figure it out. We go through it together. And you still may have questions, right? Depending on what you come in with. But that is the goal, is for you to make informed decisions about loans, about scholarships, about your decisions, your choices, all of those things. So I hope that answered your question.
Definitely. And I also, what I love is you're doing this from a family perspective. So it's not the student having these conversations, trying to figure things out on their own. And it's not the parents trying to figure it out on their own. You're getting that, I guess, almost a community. And so you're building a community working with you. I wanted to, I know we're talking about parents, but I don't want to miss this, because this is something, I'm going to drop these questions in here to kind of spark conversation for our faculty and staff members, because there's opportunity for you guys to also consider working with Marilyn. So on her website, she does talk about the professional learning with faculty and staff. And I wonder if you can touch a little bit on that, because there, again, just as there are parents who are floundering, there are educators who could use, quite frankly, who could use the help. There is no funding available, and don't try to, go to the counselor at your high school and think they're going to figure it out with 1,000 kids. So,
Absolutely.
Can you talk about what kind of services you offer for faculty and staff members?
Thank you for adding that. So let me start with this, that there are parents who are also teachers and educators, administrators, right? So just because you have gone through the journey yourself does not mean it's the same. We mentioned that on our last episode, right? I went to college in the 80s. If I tried advising students based on my experiences or my sisters and siblings' experience from the 1980s, it would almost be irrelevant in 2023. So what I offer, though, is because I was a teacher on both the college and the high school level, I also understand the other side of that. How do you fit that into your day? How do you sprinkle it in your class? How do you not rely solely on the school counselor, if your school even has one, to provide college and career planning services? So what I offer is professional learning, or some schools call it professional development, for not only the entire faculty or with leadership teams. And what do I define as a leadership team? They may not have the title of being on an instructional team or a leadership team on the building campus, but they have the heart of students. You know those teachers in a school that when they get around, the students start cheering and they, I miss such and such, and I miss the such. Those are people who have the mind, the heart, and the attention of students. So how can they be part of the conversation? Because they have students who will listen to them. So I offer all of those types of services, and even workshops for parents. Because I really believe in my heart that parents want their students, their children, their teens to have the best opportunities, regardless of income, regardless of background, regardless of their zip code or where they live, They want their students to have options and be prepared for those options without someone else taking the options off the table. So all of those services, I believe in a holistic approach to college and career success, because that is what works.
Wow, that is, and I think again, as a parent, and I love the fact that you mentioned that, yeah, there are teachers who are also parents, and they're having the same question. So just again, for teachers, administrators, whether you're in a charter school or public, whatever school you're in, if you're serving children, you're teaching our kids, you need to, honestly, contact MGM College Services for some help. Really, seriously. So can we talk about college application assistance?
Come on, we can talk about it all.
Because, man. Okay, so I have some friends over here in these streets who really, struggled with the college application process, and a lot of them were doing it on behalf of their kids. Now, I confess, my mom was a teacher my whole life in Jamaica, so I was raised, by a teacher. And so therefore there are certain things like do your own work that were ingrained in, figure it out, those type of things. But that college application process is so confusing, and there's so many services and variations of, people don't know who to go to or what website to go to. So I'm also really glad, by the way, y'all, this is a part of the service offerings that MGM offers. So I'm telling you that, please just go to Marilyn. She'll help you figure it out. But can you touch a little bit on that? Like what is this service? How do you help parents?
Okay, so thank you for that. So specifically, so outside of my 3-month coaching program, outside of the workshops that I do that are free, or even a college strategy session or some other things that I offer specifically for seniors and their parents. So in the 12th grade year, in the fall, somewhere between August, because school starts at different times, but between August and December, I do offer a college application and admission package, which is separate. And all we do is, now that you have your colleges, now that you know where you would like to apply, I walk you through the process of how do you actually apply. And it does mean that you have to talk to some of your teachers because you need letters of recommendation, or you talk to your counselor because you need copies of your transcripts to be sent to the colleges you're applying for. It's not just me, by myself, I'm doing the long range, I'm gonna make it all work. It is me saying, this is my experience, this is what I know works with students, and here are other people who are part of this process and how you can get them in. Even to help parents, how do you talk to the school counselor? How do you ask for what you need and not put it? How do students make sure that they are being responsible and the parents are not doing all of the talking, all of the asking, and the parent and the student just says whatever mama said.
Yes.
And you say, well, what do you want? I don't know, whatever my mama said, my daddy said, do, right?
Yes.
So those are some things to focus on. And that is specifically for seniors, to walk them through the process, to tell them what they should be doing, things to avoid doing, how to establish relationships with their college admission representatives, how to talk to them. And we mentioned before that with COVID, many people have been very relaxed in their conversation, which is not necessarily a bad thing. However, as an example, your college admission representative is not your girlfriend.
Right.
So when they text you or they email you or call, you don't say, hey, what's up? Oh, what's up with my application? Tell me what's going on. No. And so that is something that I've had to add to my communication parts of my programs so that students understand there's still boundaries in how we communicate professionally with people so that we make sure we stand out. How do we stand out? And so I will say, parents and educators, none of my students, and I'm talking about over my whole career, so we're talking 25 years now, nobody had straight A's. Nobody had perfect ACT, SAT scores, none of them, right? But they were able to stand out. And standing out can make the difference in the things and the opportunities that you are offered. So those are things that separate me maybe from other people who may do similar things.
Yeah, definitely, because a lot of programs that I'm aware of, you get a wonderful handbook or workbook or a list of questions. But even the point that you made about, kids coming out of, quite frankly, also adults coming out of COVID and most of us forgetting how to communicate, the holistic approach that you're taking where you're helping to shape them. How do you respond to X? Because that is a part of the application process. Do you think?
Absolutely.
That's definitely
Absolutely.
the perception. That is a part of your brand. So that is a part of how colleges see you and how you respond. And there are parents who are not equipped to do that. So hire someone who is, so that, hey, our kids get what they need, which is getting into a great school. So, yeah.
You make a decision in the first 7 to 10 seconds of meeting you.
Wow, that's powerful. That is really, that is fun. I think a lot of us, we're not thinking about that part, but that is absolutely true. So when it comes to like scholarships, how do you help parents figure out like the mesh of where to go? Like, and again, I want to make sure we remind people, please make sure that you actually get connected and y'all go through the actual assessment conversation with Marilyn. You're not going to get everything here today, so make sure you sign up for that, okay? But I'm just laying the ground for what you can expect when you get there. So when you're having those scholarship mesh confusion type conversations, how do you help parents with that?
Well, the first step is finding out what they want. So if I talk to a student may have one goal, but the parent may have an absolutely totally different goal, right? Let's take it, for example, a parent may typically say, I don't want to take loans. I want my child to go to college. I don't want loans. I don't want to mortgage my house. All the things that we've heard about. I don't want to give an arm and a leg. I don't want to empty out my 401k. I don't want to do any of that. And so the parent, again, then the research says the number one concern of parents is paying for college. Yeah. So that's one. A student, on the other hand, may say, I want to go to college that has this, that has a band, that has a football team, that's a Division I school, especially with March Madness coming on. So they may have very different, but with all of those things, usually comes a higher price tag. That's fine. Now, how are you going to pay for it? And they look at the parents. You got me? Right? So that's an example of a disconnect. So a student may say, I know to do scholarships, but when we go through it and I say, well, you have to write an essay. I don't want to write an essay. So let me find no essay scholarships. I said, well, how many students do you think don't want to write essays? So there's a lot more competition. So you have to put in the work if you want the results. Then on the parent side, the parents say scholarships, and then they'll say, well, I'll just help the student and write the framework. No, mom and dad. No, that's not the plan. No. So the scholarships are out there, but here's the key. You can search scholarships right now on Google, Chrome, whatever platform, GoDaddy, wherever you are. But if you're not going to do the work, to find the requirements, to get the letters, to write the essays, to answer whatever you're being asked to do, if you're not going to do that, then all the websites in the world don't matter. Yeah. If you're not going to do the work. If they ask you to turn in your grades, if they ask you to send in your resume, whatever it is, they have the right to ask you for what they want because they have the money. And if you're not going to do it, it won't help you. And so the parents kind of, making the students do the scholarships, that won't help either because they won't do a great job. Well, my mom say, write this essay. Let me just hurry up and write some down. Let me take a paper that I wrote in English and recycle it and just throw it in. That's a waste of time. So talking about what is our goal individually and as a unit, as a family, having real conversations. I mentioned, I told my daughters in middle school, And I was doing this, right, for my
Yeah.
career, for work. Okay, guys, you need scholarship money.
Yeah.
We didn't save up. Dad and I know we didn't do it when you were born. No, I know you see it on TV. We didn't have no fun. We didn't have a
Yeah.
504 plan. We didn't. Okay, we didn't do it. So let's get over that. Now you need scholarships.
Yeah.
And so I'll help you. I won't write for you. I won't look for you, but I will support you. I will look over your essays. I will provide supplemental assistance.
Yeah.
And now I was being very honest with them. So that would be the second thing. Parents be, without getting into the details, so the kids like, well, you don't have no money. That's not your business. Do you have some money to pay for college? $35,000 a year. But having those conversations of, I know you want to go to college. This is how I can help. This is how I can support you. And here's your part. Now together, we're going to make this happen. And being open to what that looks like. It could be changing the schools. It could be changing your areas of expertise, right? If I know I want to be a doctor, but if I want to be a neurologist, I know that that's extra school, that's extra money. Then what am I willing to do to offset what I want? So those are all things for parents to think about and have in your mind your answers before you talk to your students, so that when you do talk to them, you have already thought about what you're willing to do. And to be honest, I tell students, parents do not have to help you go to college. They do not.
Yeah.
After 18, legally, they don't have to help you. So anything they do, pay your fees, pay part of your tuition.
Yeah.
Let you take a car that they bought you. Whatever it is, that's a thank you that they don't have to do. And parents are still required to complete FAFSA until the student is 24, unless the student is accepted and approved as a dependent student, which is not the easiest process. So in essence, be nice to your parents. Parents, listen to your kids. Find a medium ground, work it out, and have a plan. Because the worst thing that I've seen is a parent to go to college freshman year and they're not able to continue for a variety of reasons. And they end up coming back home because it is very unlikely. The research is showing that students who come home, who have to come home for different reasons, they don't often go back, or there's such a gap in years until they're able to go back again.
Wow, that's right. I have a few more questions I want to run by you. One of them is, what do parents need to do? How do we prepare before we have the conversation with you? What are some of the things before we schedule the call that it's maybe best practice that we should probably know this before we call you?
My head is saying nothing, right? But my heart is saying, be honest about your own journey. There are many times that our journey as parents, in whatever way, whether it's college, relationships, marriages, careers, whatever it is, that those things can color and shade how we share things with our students. So just know how much you're willing to share, what your real goals are for your child, and who your child really is, not the child you want them to be.
How we want. Yeah.
Right. If you know your student hates school, barely is going to high school, then maybe pushing college is not the best idea. However, there are other ways to go to college, and there are alternatives to college that we could discuss as well. So I would say that would be the prep, to be honest about your experiences with school, with education, with college and careers before you come, and then really no prep for that, because the questions that we ask and what we talk about will help pull out some of those other things.
Wow. Okay. My next question is, so the workshops that you do, is that an opportunity for like parents to meet other parents, or is it mainly family based? I'm thinking about like what kind of support there might be to help parents.
So there's both. And so I just started a brand new community because I did want parents. I was back and forth on that, because sometimes when parents talk to other parents, they can encourage parents. Yeah. Right? If you're all trying to learn and you're all having these different experiences, then when you put them in the same room,
right,
sometimes that cannot be the best outcome. So But what I will say is any event that I have, there's a chat because I'm still virtual. So you can talk to other people. If you find out that you connected with someone or you have a similar background or your kids are in the same grades or ages, you're more than welcome to carefully you can have offline conversation. That is your right as an adult. I will say though, it's more important from my perspective is to share information, all of the information that is needed, and then for parents to make the best next step for them, for their immediate household.
That makes sense.
I definitely am. I have opportunities for parents to connect through group activities, whether it is parent specific, or maybe it's student specific, or maybe it is both together, such as in my coaching program, so that we can have the benefit of all of those layers of community and interaction.
And then my last question is, what about households where you have one parent who is for college, maybe the other parent is not for college? Like what advice do you have for parents in those situations to kind of bring the family together before y'all schedule the call with Marilyn? You got to fix this thing. Okay. I'm just making sure y'all know this. So.
Now, Shelly, I don't get in people's households. I don't get between parents and students and between couples. But I will say, if that disconnect is visible, then your teens feel it. They see it. And that can make a teen not move forward, right? Maybe the student is saying, I want to go to college, but I see mom and dad arguing about it. So then I won't pursue it, or I won't move forward, or I'll do it secretly when they really need the parent support and help you through the process. So again, that's another opportunity to have open conversation with adults before they bring the students involved. Even if the parent says, I didn't go to college, I'm not exactly sure about college for you, we really can't afford it, whatever those things are. But but as your parent, I support what you would like to do.
Okay. How can I
help you? What would be, and I tell parents, ask your child, what would help you? Because sometimes we can do what we think is helpful, but that's not what the student needs.
Yeah, I love that.
Mom, I really like it when you ask me once a week how my day wasn't. Not every single day, not as soon as I come in the door from home, right? I want to know, right? But the student is saying, can we just do it once a week? Can we have a once a week conversation? So there's always a balance between what one person wants versus the other one, and how do you come together? And if there's a disconnect, how does that affect the student? How does that affect what they would like to do? And how does that affect the support that you give or are willing to give to your student?
Wow, that's amazing. I think, again, for parents, before you make that consultative appointment, before you make the call to MGM College Services, make sure you actually think about, any objections that you have, and kind of get past that hurdle before you get Marilyn involved. Because once you get her involved, she's all about helping your students succeed. Y'all need to figure everything else out. But if you don't have the support model in place, whatever she's doing to coach your teens, it's not gonna be as successful as it could be if the home situation, the support model is busted. So I definitely encourage you guys to please reach out. Again, for those of you all, especially for parents who've been impacted by layoffs and you don't know where the money's coming from. Maybe you're a family and you haven't been impacted and you know where the money's coming from, but you have teens and you still need to get it together. Okay. Make sure that you contact Marilyn. Go on Instagram. I'm going to drop all the social media information. Again, my apologies to folks on Facebook. I'll drop the replay. It'll be on YouTube so everybody can see it. Those of y'all who are on LinkedIn, please make sure that you connect to Marilyn on LinkedIn. I've also dropped that link. And, so before I made my last question, I'm always curious for people who are living out their purpose in like full bloom, because there's a lot of people who are not, or they're trying to get there and they're trying to figure out like, how did she make it happen? By the way, it sounds easy, but it's not. It's a lot of work and a lot of years. Okay, so she's making it look, it sounds easy, but I promise you, it's not. So I'm curious to find out from you, what do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, wow.
Keep telling people I have one Oprah question, and that's
Okay,
it.
right. No, what I want to be remembered for, and as an English teacher, I'm about to make this a really complex. I'm getting it all in here, right?
Yeah.
I really want to be remembered as a woman of faith who worked in the gifts that God has given me to help students, period, through the lens of college and career planning. Because I started out as an English teacher, and because of my students, because of my own personal children, I started helping them and their friends and so on and so on, and it bloomed into this. So I want to be remembered as a woman of faith who used the gifts that God gave me through education, through the lens of college and career planning, so that I can help families, which helps communities, which helps our world. So that's what I want to be remembered for. If nothing else, you say, oh, she really cares about students going to college and the families that support them. Absolutely.
That's powerful. That is exactly why I think you are so successful at what you do, and you have a lot of success coming to you. It's because of the heart that's associated with what you're doing. That's what it is. It's your heart is all in it, and people genuinely, especially parents, we genuinely want to work with people who care about our kids. So we are so grateful that you came back a second time. I'm going to be stalking you as usual, because that's what I do, to just keep track and see what's going on, and referring people your way as best I can, because I think this is a service that we all need. And as a parent, I'm just honored that your heart is in. My mom was a teacher when she was alive, so I have a heart for teachers as well. So I genuinely appreciate everything that you're doing. Y'all, please make sure you love, like, and share the video. Get it out, especially get it out to other administrators and teachers and counselors and folks who are within our community who need help for our kids, profit, nonprofit, whatever. And just link back if you have any questions. So
and I want to ask one more thing. So I'm going to share a gift with your parents. I want to add, and I'll add it to the chat. It is a resource to how to have or continue college conversations with your students. So it's a template, and it has blank lines so you can read it, fill in the blank as you talk to students, your teens, and then you can also make it your own. So once you read it and feel like, okay, I know what I'm doing now, you can put your own spin on it. That's fine with me.
Oh, wow.
That will help parents open the door to college and career conversations with their teens. So I will drop that link in here as well.
Oh, that's amazing. Y'all, we love gifts. We love it. And that is absolutely perfect. That is just, see what I mean, y'all? I told y'all. I warned y'all. I told y'all. Oh my gosh. All right. So we're going to say goodbye to the folks. We're going to hang out in the back room. Everybody, good night. Thank you so much for watching. Please, like I said, love, like, and share so other people can get blessed from this production here tonight. Thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you for having me, and thank all of the parents. And you've got this. Let's get it done.
All right. I love that.